I thought I was losing my mind. That's what gaslighting does, it makes you question reality until you're drowning in your own doubt. Jake had been acting different for months. Late nights, new clothes, that stupid smile when his phone buzzed. When I confronted him, he'd roll his eyes like I was some paranoid psycho. "You're imagining things, babe. God, you're so insecure. I can't even have friends without you freaking out." We'd been together 4 years. Living together for 2. I'd already bought my dress, nothing fancy, just something white from Target that made me feel pretty. The wedding was supposed to be next spring. Small ceremony, our families, maybe 30 people total. I'd shown everyone the ring except my parents because Jake said we should tell them together when the time was right. My friends kept pushing. "Girl, follow your gut. Check his phone. You deserve better than this anxiety." But every time I tried, Jake would catch me and launch into another speech about trust and boundaries. He was so convincing. So calm while I fell apart. The hotel receipt fell out of his jacket pocket like a gift from hell. 4 days at the Marriott downtown. Last week. When he said he was visiting his sick aunt in Ohio. The same week I was texting him goodnight to radio silence, worry eating me alive because his aunt lived in a dead zone. I confronted him with shaking hands. He barely glanced at it. "That's from months ago. I kept it for taxes." His voice was flat, annoyed, like I was interrupting something important. But the date was right there. Last Tuesday through Friday. Clear as day. "Jake, this is from last week." "No, it's not. You're reading it wrong." He snatched it from me, crumpled it up. "Jesus Christ, this paranoia is getting out of hand. Maybe you should talk to someone." That's when something snapped. The gaslighting, the condescension, the way he made me feel crazy for trusting my own eyes. I was done being the villain in my own story. I waited until he left for work, then I became a detective. Phone records from our shared plan showed hundreds of texts to a number I didn't recognize. Hotel reservations under his name, not just 1, but 6 different weekends. Credit card statements I'd never seen, showing dinners for 2 at restaurants I'd begged him to take me to. Lingerie purchases that never made it home to me. The texts were worse than I imagined. Not just cheating, planning a whole other life. Talking about apartments, meeting her parents, how difficult it was pretending with me until he could handle the situation. 3 months of messages calling me clingy, crazy, a placeholder until he figured out his exit strategy. Her name was Morgan. She worked at his gym. She thought they were engaged. I printed everything. Every text, every receipt, every lie documented in black and white. Then I found the wedding invitation mock-up I'd made on Canva, the one I'd been too embarrassed to send my parents because Jake kept stalling on meeting them. I stuffed it all in a manila envelope addressed to Mom and Dad. When Jake came home, I was sitting at our kitchen table with copies spread out like evidence in a murder trial. He walked in laughing about something on his phone, probably texting her, and stopped dead. "What is this?" "The truth," I said. "Everything you've been gaslighting me about for months." His face went white, then red, then stone cold. No more Mr. Nice Guy pretending I was crazy. "You went through my private stuff?" "Your private stuff? We're supposed to be getting married, Jake. There is no private stuff." He didn't deny it. Didn't apologize. Just stared at the papers like they'd personally betrayed him. "So what now?" he asked. "Now you pack your shit and get out. And hope my dad doesn't come looking for you." "Your dad doesn't even know about me." That's when I smiled for the first time in months. "He does now? Check your mailbox tomorrow." The silence that followed was deafening. Jake grabbed his keys and walked out without another word. Didn't even pack. Just left me sitting there surrounded by the evidence of everything I'd lost. My parents called at 7 a.m. the next morning. "Honey," Mom's voice was tight with controlled fury, "we need to talk." They drove 4 hours to get to me. Dad barely spoke, just kept clenching and unclenching his fists while Mom made tea and asked gentle questions I couldn't answer without sobbing. 4 years, she kept saying. 4 years and we never met him because he was never serious. The worst part wasn't even Jake being gone. It was realizing I'd been living a complete fiction. The man I loved, the future I'd planned, the person I thought I was, none of it was real. Morgan messaged me on Instagram 2 days later. She was devastated, crying, apologizing. Turns out Jake had told her I was his crazy ex who wouldn't let go. She'd been planning their engagement party. She thought the hotel receipts were romantic getaways with his future wife. "He showed me pictures of you," she wrote, "and said you were stalking him." Even his cheating was a lie built on lies. Work became impossible. I couldn't concentrate, couldn't fake being okay. When my coworkers asked about the wedding, I just mumbled that it was postponed. Eventually, someone figured it out, and suddenly everyone was walking on eggshells, giving me those pitying looks that made me want to disappear. Our mutual friends picked sides quickly. Jake's version was that I'd had a breakdown and invaded his privacy. He painted himself as the victim of a psycho girlfriend who couldn't handle a normal relationship. Half our friend group bought it because Jake was charming and I was the one crying in public, looking unstable. I had to move back in with my parents at 28. Sleeping in my childhood bedroom, staring at the ceiling, wondering how someone could lie so effortlessly for so long. How he could look me in the eye every morning and ask what I wanted for breakfast while planning his escape. The dress is still hanging in my closet. $89 from Target, tag still on. Some days I catch myself staring at it, remembering how excited I was when I brought it home. How I twirled in front of the mirror, imagining walking down an aisle toward someone who loved me. I see Jake around town sometimes. At the grocery store, the bank, normal places where normal people do normal things. He acts like I'm invisible. No acknowledgement, no shame, nothing. Like 4 years of my life meant so little he can erase me from existence without effort. Morgan and I became strange allies for a while, bonding over being fooled by the same man. But even that faded. She was ready to move on, date again, trust again. I couldn't understand how. The hardest part is the way gaslighting changes you permanently. Even now, months later, I second-guess everything. Did I overreact? Was I really that paranoid? Maybe he's right and I am crazy. The rational part of my brain knows better, but doubt creeps in during quiet moments. My therapist says it's normal. That psychological manipulation leaves scars you can't see. That learning to trust my own perception again will take time. But some things don't heal. I'll never get back the version of myself who believed love was simple. Who thought 4 years meant something? Who could plan a future without wondering if the person beside me was planning their exit? I still have all the evidence in a folder on my desk. Sometimes I flip through it just to remind myself that it really happened, that I wasn't imagining things, that the woman who printed those receipts and mailed them to her parents wasn't a paranoid psycho, she was someone fighting for the truth. Jake taught me that some people will gaslight you right up until the moment the evidence is undeniable, and even then, they'll make you the villain for finding it. I just wish I'd learned that lesson before I bought the dress.